Good morning, children. The subject which I am going to teach you today is English literature. In English literature, I am going to teach you lesson number 4, that is Out with Father. This lesson is a story, okay? In this story, there are some characters, okay? So first, you listen about these characters, who they are, okay? So let's start and listen carefully. Okay, so there is a girl whose name is Uma. Then there is Dr. Nair, who is a dentist. Who is he? He is a dentist. And Uma is Dr. Nair's daughter. Then there is Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul is a tailor. Who is he? He is a tailor. Then there is Mrs. Kumar. Mrs. Kumar is a police woman. Then there is Mr. Mishra, who is a grocer. Then there is Ashok uncle, who is a guard. That is, he is a watchman who takes care of the house. Then there is Uncle Nayak, who is a gardener. Okay? Now children, once more listen. Uma, who is the daughter of Dr. Nair. Dr. Nair, who is a dentist. Mr. Paul is a tailor. Mrs. Kumar is a police woman. Mr. Mishra is a grocer. Ashok uncle is a guard. Uncle Nayak is a gardener. Okay, how the story starts? The story starts when Uma comes home from school. Okay, so now Uma comes home from school. After some time, she goes to her father's clinic. That is to Dr. Nair's clinic. Now, Dr. Nair is a dentist. So, now they are in the clinic. From the clinic, they go to Mr. Paul's shop. Okay, Mr. Paul is a tailor. Dr. Nair gets his clothes stitched from Mr. Paul. That is, he gets his trousers and shirts stitched from Mr. Paul. So they go to Mr. Paul's shop, and from Mr. Paul's shop, Dr. Nair collects his new shirts. Now at the shop, they meet a lady whose name is Mrs. Kumar. Okay, Mrs. Kumar is a police woman. Who is a policewoman or a policeman? They are the ones who protect us, who take care of us. Okay, so there they meet Mrs. Kumar. Mrs. Kumar has come to Mr. Paul's shop to collect her uniforms. Okay, so Mrs. Kumar asks Mr. Paul, are my uniforms ready? So Mr. Paul replies, yes, they are. Okay, so he hands over a packet to Mrs. Kumar, okay, in which uniforms are there. Now, Uma and Dr. Nair, they go back home. While going back home, they stop at a shop. Okay, they stop at Mr. Mishra's shop, who is a grocer. He sells groceries. Okay, now they stop at Mr. Mishra's shop and they buy bread, butter, milk and eggs from there for the family's breakfast. Okay, so they stop at Mr. Mishra's shop, who is a grocer, and from there they buy these things. Okay, now after buying these things, they go back home. When they go back home, Ashok uncle, who is the guard, he comes out of his cabin and he opens the gate and he greets them. How he greets them? By saying good morning or good afternoon or good evening according to the time. So in this way, Ashok uncle greets them. Okay, now Dr. Nair replies, thank you Ashok. Okay, Now they enter inside. When they enter, there is a garden in their house. Okay. Now Uncle Nayak, he comes, he tells Uma, Uma, come here. I'll show you a bird's nest in the garden's hedge. Okay. Now what is a hedge? This is a hedge, children. A row of short plants by the edge of the garden. Okay, and you can see the bird's nest over here. Okay, so now Uma gets to see the bird's nest. In the bird's nest, there are 3 tiny eggs. Okay, so Dr. Nair tells Uma that don't touch these eggs. Okay, so he instructs Uma that don't touch these eggs, and he says, come, let's go inside. He also says, after tea, I will tell you a story about a clever fox. Do you want to hear it? Okay, so in this way, this story ends. What do you learn from this story? From this story, you learn about different people who help us. Okay, like Dr. Nair, he is a dentist who helps people take care of their teeth. Now there is Mr. Paul, who is a tailor. He stitches clothes for us. Now there is Mrs. Kumar, who is a policewoman. She protects us. Now there is Mr. Mishra, who sells groceries. Okay, he provides us with various things of our need. Then there is Ashok uncle, who guards our house. Okay, who protects our house. Then there is Uncle Nayak, who is a gardener who takes care of the plants. So these are all the people who help us. Okay, in our lives also we have them. They help us in many ways. So in this story we learn about people who help us. I hope you have understood the story, children, and you enjoyed listening it. Now we will do a reading of this lesson. Thank you. So let's start with the reading, children. Okay. Lesson 4, Out with Father. The children are home from school. After lunch, Uma goes to her father's clinic. Uma's father, Dr. Nair, is a dentist. He helps people take care of their teeth. From the clinic, they go to Mr. Paul's shop. Mr. Paul is a tailor. So here you can see the picture of Dr. Nair. Okay. Here is the picture of Mr. Paul, who is the tailor. She is Mrs. Kumar, who is the policewoman, Dr. Nair, and here is the girl whose name is Uma. Now let's read further. He stitches Dr. Nair's shirts and trousers. Dr. Nair collects his new shirts. They meet Mrs. Kumar there. She is a policewoman. Mrs. Kumar asks the tailor, "Are my uniforms ready, Mr. Paul?" "Yes, here they are," Mr. Paul replies. He packs Mrs. Kumar's uniforms and gives them to her. On their way home, they stop at Mr. Mishra's shop. Mr. Mishra sells groceries. They buy milk, eggs, bread and butter for the family's breakfast. When they reach home, their guard, Ashok uncle, comes out of his cabin. He opens the gate and greets them. "Thank you, Ashok," Dr. Nair says. So here you can see the picture of the shop, and he is Mr. Mishra who sells groceries. Okay, and here is Dr. Nair and this girl Uma. They are there to buy the things which they need. Now here is a picture of Uncle Nayak, who is a gardener. Uncle Nayak, the gardener, shows Uma a bird's nest in the garden hedge. There are 3 tiny eggs in the nest. Okay, so what is a hedge? A row of bushes or plants planted along the edge of a garden. This is a picture which I showed you. This is called a hedge. Okay, a row of bushes or plants planted along the edge of a garden. Okay, now let's read further. Don't touch the eggs, Uma, Dr. Naya says. Come, let's go inside. After tea, I will tell you a story about a clever fox. Do you want to hear it? Okay, so in this way, the story ends. I hope you have understood it, children. Thank you.